Hello and welcome to the Rooster Teeth Community Highlight, Episode 8, a show in which I take some of the community fan-made content across all walks of the Rooster Teeth life and show them to you to make sure they get the attention they deserve. This week we've got a lot in store, so I guess we better stop wasting time and get straight into it. Or I could waste time, just... Diving straight into the Red vs Blue series this week, we have this image done by Dan Maradia. And, as you guys might be able to tell, it's an image of Caboose, hosting one of his best quotes of, "I like me." One thing I kind of really like about this piece is the fact that if Caboose has attempted to do a self-portrait, it wouldn't look anywhere near as detailed as this. And what Maradia has done, which, Dan Maradia, not Maradia, sorry, I mispronounced your name. Although one thing I really do like is the little love hearts that sort of spiral away from the image, because Caboose, all in all, is a very loving character. I mean, a little less than educated, for lack of a better term, but he is something of a loyal dog. And if you guys have been watching the most recent series of Red vs Blue, you'd know that Caboose's dog, Freckles, is more than obedient. Also massive and metal with massive machine guns. Massively. Massive! You know, the whole jungle is massive. I'm not G enough, I'm not gangster. Although it is good to see that Dan Maradia is paying tribute to Caboose's old Mark V helmet. Which, who knows when he's going to get it back. Although actually with the Halo 4 new helmets released in the new map pack, we could be getting it back. Which would be amazing. Really, I mean, yes. Taking a short step away from the Red vs Blue series, we have this image done by Frasian001, which is of both Ruby and Wes. And so far in the series, we know there's been a slightly contested relationship between the two, and now that they've been partnered together, it's going to put them to the limits. One thing I really like about this piece is how Frasian has actually captured a moment within the series. Obviously, when first Ruby and Wes first met, they didn't exactly see eye to eye, and then when both thrown into the forest together and being forced to pair, Wes was less than impressed, and Ruby obviously just wanted to make amends. This image itself sort of brings the two together and shows how happy Ruby was that Wes actually came back and agreed to be a partner, even though that was the rules, but semantics. One thing I really like about this image is how it does take influence from the cartoonish side of Ruby. Obviously there's those comedic moments in which the cartoon side sort of takes the better of Ruby, and this piece perfectly reflects that, which, nice. Gracie on the website created a trio of images in this style, and the image I'm showing you right here is of Gavin, in something that can only be described as a drug-fueled fantasia. I mean, just look at the image, it's so bizarre, but yet the way his blue skin and bright yellow eyes, he looks demonic. It's very stylized. I mean, the hair, the colours, I mean, in fairness, I thought I was high while staring at it. I wasn't. At least, I don't think I was. You wouldn't know. Would I know? I've been high too often. But one thing I also really like is how he's actually surrounded Gavin's seemingly decapitated head with a collection of improvised explosives, which, in fairness, give Gavin a chance to blow something up. He'll either film it in slow motion or ruins everyone else's day within a game using it. So, I mean, Gavin and explosives somewhat go hand in hand. There's something very eerie about this image with the yellow eyes, though. I mean, I can't just shake it off. You stare at this image and it kind of stares back, which maybe that was Gracie was going for, but, I mean, I'm probably going to go back to Eurokun's shirtless Gavin, because this one gives me nightmares, that one just gives me wet dreams. Either way, I'm not sleeping well tonight. I think that's the moral of the story. Stepping right back into the Red vs Blue universe, as promised, we have this image done by Seamus McGee. And if I could just take a moment to say how amazingly Scottish your name is, I'm impressed. But also commend you on this image of both Washington and Maine. I think I've said many times in this series how Maine is one scary motherfucker, and this image is no exception. It sort of shows the scene in which Washington is somewhat on the edge line, somewhat at Maine's mercy, and that's not a good thing. He would do things to you in which your intestines would be outside your body. Disembowelment, that's probably a nicer word to it. Dismemberment. anything to do with this. One thing that really stood out to me about this image is actually the focus. I mean, if you look at Washington for a little bit, you see that he actually is slightly blurred, and the main focus is Maine, which the main focus is Maine. I'm such a twat. Combined with the way that Shamus did the lighting in this image, it comes across as very tense, and that probably isn't just because Maine is holding a gun and Washington's on the floor. I mean, actually, in fairness, that probably is why it's so suspense, but the lighting helps that. Yeah, see, I know about lighting. Finally, moving into the achievement hunters this week, we have this image done by UTech iTech. I hope that's how you pronounce your name, because I couldn't imagine UTech, because I can't pronounce that. What they've done here is they've taken the achievement hunter avatars and taken them to the most minimalistic form possible. And within a game like Minecraft, reducing it back even more, I'm down with that. I mean, we were happy with blocks, why not pixels? UTech iTech has also actually added a little itty bitty tower of pimps on the end, which, in fairness, these would all be pretty cool as like a wristband. Maybe have them all on one, or just individual ones. I mean, I'm just throwing out ideas. Again, item of the week, minimalistic wristbands. For the inner hipster in you. You're just like, I could take the whole thing. Nah, bare minimum. Very feng shui. I hope that's the right way of saying it. This show is all about me showing you my understanding of the world, which is limited. I guess it's always going to be limited. Giving UTech iTech credit where credit is due, he has actually done a lot of attention to detail. Apart from leaving the sky as 2 blank colours, he has added Ray's little rose in, as well as like Master Chief's cockpiece and armor. So he's done it justice. If there was any okay, well that's a fuck up and a half. If there's any way for minimalism to be done of the avatars, this is the best way to do it. At least the way I've seen it. If you've got any better, send them in. Please do. Although if you guys do actually have any submissions to send in, don't forget rtcommunity@live.com or message me, Matt Chow, on the Rooster Teeth website. But that sort of brings an end to the submissions this week. Always don't forget to check out the Rooster Teeth podcast 234, in which they give you some tips on how to flirt. I mean, with a bunch of guys, you can always learn something. I mean, you might try them out. They probably won't work. They might work. If they're not gonna work. I'm gonna be blunt. I'm gonna be blunt. Not gonna work. 2 weeks ago, I asked you guys if you could get Rage Quit Michael to play any game. What game would you choose and why? The first good answer was done by Viral Intent 42, which was Doritos Crash Course. And you kind of know any game that's endorsed by any sort of food company is gonna have some good achievements. Well, also not that, but some infuriating mechanics. We should get him to play the Burger King games. Those are always good. Although I think he might already have. If he has, I'll put a link. If not, there won't be a link, and I'll just sort of edit this out. The other good response was done by David Buscemi. Sorry for mispronouncing your surname by any means. But he recommended N+, because, and I quote, fuck that. I mean, in fairness, it does have its moments, and with the lasers and the balls that chase you. Apparently a sequel's coming out, which I'm sure Michael could get infuriated about again and again. Seeing as we're still working our way through the Achievement Hunter, the next question is still going to be achievement related. What would you guys say is your favourite Gavin saying? I mean, out of all the British bunting and somewhat mishmash of words that aren't actually real, which one is your favourite? I mean, leave a comment in below and I will read them out in 2 to 3 weeks time, just to make sure I get a good amount of responses, or I won't get any, in which I'll be sad. Oh, I can't cry. But anyway, this has been me, Matthew, aka Matcher, on the Rooster Teeth website. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you again next week. Such a retard.